Oh, hello there. Today I'm going to be talking a bit more about blueberries and growing them in the backyard and things that you can do, things you can implement to get better blueberry crops. So there we are. Now, we had some high winds last night actually, and there's flower pots all over the show here to indicate that. But there we are. That's one of those things, and I will pick them up in due course. Now, okay, so let's go over the varieties that I'm growing here. So the first variety we have is Spartan. Okay, you can pause that. In fact, that doesn't show you very well, does it? This one's better. Hang on. Let's have a look. There you go. You can pause that if you're interested to read more about that. Down here we have Elliot. Here we have, where is it? Gold Trail. Not 100% sure actually what these are. These are from previous projects. I think one or two of them may be Gold Trail, but I cannot remember with real accuracy. Now down here we have Jersey. No. And over here we have Duke. Okay, so I hope I'm in focus. I'm just going to check that I indeed am. There we go. So yeah, blueberries are a great thing to grow because one would not refer to them generally as an exotic, but they're not as commonly grown here in the UK as things like, strawberries and raspberries. So there is a degree of curiosity about them. I know that in the US they are very, very popular indeed. And over here, commercial growers are starting to grow them over here because they're a great crop. They're very nutritious. They're referred to as, or regarded as, a superfood, and they're versatile. You can eat them fresh, put them in jam. You've got muffins and pies and things like that. They're just a great thing to grow. So a few things to consider, and the most important thing, okay, is you must get the pH right, okay? It must be between 4.5 and 5.5, okay? It must be an acidic growing medium, otherwise known as ericaceous, okay? So basically, if your soil, your growing medium, falls out of this range, I wouldn't bother, growing them in that, okay? 4.5 to 5.5 is where it's at, okay? And if you've got that in your garden, your allotment, or wherever you're growing them, then great. But if not, you've got several options. One option is you can build a bed, and you can put ericaceous compost and other things to make it acidic, or you can grow them in containers as I'm choosing to grow here, okay? So with regards to growing mediums, you can get commercial ericaceous compost, you can get commercial, ericaceous feed, or you can go about making your own, which is something that I'm going to be getting into again, which I've done in the past, and I've got a video on how I did that a few years ago. So there we go. But I put up a video a few days ago. You can check that one out if you're interested, where I show you how I've made my own growing medium. But if you're going to make your own growing medium, okay, things like pine needles, composted oak tree leaves, coffee ground, and sawdust, mix it all together and you can get a nice bit of ericaceous sort of growing medium going there. You can get you can get pH soil testing kits as well that you can do at home to find out what your pH of growing medium is, or you can send it off or whatever, so that's a very good thing. If you've got soil where things like azaleas and rhododendrons do well, then you may have ericaceous soil as well, but I would generally check out your pH in the ground before you put your plants in, because you don't want to risk your time, your effort and the money or whatever you've spent on the plants, because if you put them in the ground willy-nilly and you're not 100% sure what the growing medium is and it's wrong, you'll end up with withered plants that don't grow very well, sickly, and they won't crop very well. So you really don't want to do that. Now, with regards to watering, you want to water them daily, certainly when they are fruiting during the growing season. An ericaceous feed, a liquid ericaceous feed every other week can be very, very advantageous to keep that growing medium ericaceous as well. It's particularly important, if you're growing them in containers, because as you're watering them, and the rainwaters and nutrients can leach out the bottom. I'm going to be feeding them, every other week with liquid seaweed. So probably what I'm going to be doing is, 1 week ericaceous feed, the next week the liquid seaweed, to keep the nutrients going in, to keep the ericaciousness, if you will, of the growing medium going. Just keep it going like that. I was told a few years ago that it's very advantageous to grow them in not massive containers because they are shallow rooted, okay, and that they don't put deep roots down, certainly at least when the plants are small, which yours will probably be. So, and apparently they like tight knit roots as well, so growing them in tubs can be a very good choice. So if you want to have a go at something a little bit different, blueberries can be it. They're very good for the UK climate, you know, where they natively come from. You know, they can tolerate cold weather, so they're very good over here. And now you can buy them readily, local garden centre, on the internet, and you can also propagate and take cuttings as well. Although I have tried this before, not with any real effort, but this year or whatever, when the time comes, I'm going to be getting into taking blueberry cuttings. So there we go. So if you've got any comments or questions on blueberries, feel free to post them below. There's one more variety I want to get, at least initially, and that is Blue Crop, okay, which is grown commercially and does very, very well, you know, for commercial growers. So to me that indicates it's got good keeping qualities, good travelling qualities, and an overall robust variety. So there we are. So you've seen the varieties I've got. There's about 33 plants now, so it'll be very interesting to see how they all do. You can see I've got them in different sized tubs as well, so you can see just how it develops growing within each tub, each growing medium size, whatever. So if you've only got a small garden, or maybe you've only got like room for like 1 or 2 plants, you know, see the little pots I've got there, and if they do well, that can indicate to you you may have a go at that as well. So yes, with regards to blueberries, it's also generally advised, although largely blueberries are self-fertile or partially self-fertile, it's generally advised to have more than one variety, okay, and the reason for this is because if you do that, then the bees can get between and help to cross-pollinate and help to increase the size of your crop, you know, different pollen, different varieties, getting it all about in that little circle, little cycle. And of course it's very good for the bees as well, you know, for their pollen collection. So there we go. So winners all round, blueberries all round, and maybe blueberry pie and blueberry muffins later this year all round as well. So yes, there we are. And daily watering, I think I mentioned that already. And wish me luck with the blueberry project. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to be making some more purchases. Not yet, next month. I've got a few planned, maybe later this month, I don't know. Got a few things. Some of you know what you know, got a rough idea. Let's say it again. Maybe some mangoes again. I must produce some edible mangoes here in the UK. I have to do it. And maybe another sort of more hardy exotic coming as well. So we'll talk more about that another time. So yes, if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Dan_Home Gardens on internet. See you later.